Hello everyone, welcome to today's presentation. I'm excited to have you here. Today we'll be exploring email notifications in ServiceNow. This will cover how notifications work, how to set them up, and best practices for effective communication. We'll keep it straightforward and practical, so by the end, you'll have a clear understanding of how to leverage email notifications in ServiceNow. Let's get started. So what exactly are email notifications? Well, they are automated messages that are triggered when certain events happen within ServiceNow. Think of them as your digital alert system, keeping you informed without you having to log into the platform constantly. This way, you stay updated in real time, no matter what you're doing. These notifications are most commonly used for things like incidents, approvals, and updates on tasks. For example, if a ticket is created or assigned, or if an approval is needed, an email will automatically be sent to the relevant person. Overall, email notifications are a powerful way to keep everyone in the loop efficiently. They help improve communication and ensure that nothing falls through the cracks, which is essential as we look to streamline our workflows and stay connected effortlessly. Let's talk about the purpose of email notifications. First, they help keep users informed about workflow updates. This means that instead of constantly checking for changes, users receive timely alerts, which helps them stay up to date effortlessly. Next, email notifications improve visibility and communication within the team. They ensure everyone is on the same page, reducing misunderstandings and keeping the flow of information smooth. Another key benefit is that they reduce manual follow-ups. Instead of chasing people for updates or status reports, notifications automatically notify everyone involved, saving time and effort. And finally, email notifications truly enhance user satisfaction. When users feel informed and connected, their experience improves, leading to a more efficient and positive workflow overall. So, these notifications are a simple yet powerful tool to streamline communication and boost productivity across the board. Let's take a closer look at the different types of email notifications in ServiceNow. First, we have record-based notifications. These are triggered whenever a specific record is created, updated, or deleted. They're very useful for keeping stakeholders informed about changes to particular items. Next, we have event-based notifications, which are triggered by specific events within the system. For example, when an incident is assigned or resolved, an email can automatically go out. These are great for automating communication based on system activity. Lastly, we have script-based notifications. These give us the most flexibility because they're driven by custom scripts. This means we can tailor notifications to very specific conditions or complex logic that might not be covered by the other types. Understanding these different notification types helps us choose the right approach for effective and timely communication within our ServiceNow environment. Record-based notifications are a powerful feature that trigger automatically whenever a record, such as an incident, change, or request, is created, updated, or even deleted. This means you don't have to manually send notifications. They happen seamlessly in the background. They are commonly used for situations like when an incident is assigned to someone, a task gets updated, or a request is approved. These are key moments where timely communication can really make a difference. You can configure these notifications through the system settings under System Notification, then Email and Notifications. This setup allows you to specify exactly when you want the notifications to go out, based on certain trigger conditions. For example, you might set it to send an email whenever the state of an incident changes to resolved. The trigger condition here would be when the record is updated, specifically when the state field changes. So, in essence, record-based notifications help automate communication based on record changes, ensuring everyone stays informed at the right moments without manual intervention. This aligns perfectly with our overall goal of streamlining workflows and improving responsiveness. Let's talk about event-based notifications. These are triggered either manually or through scripts, all based on specific events happening within the system. When an event occurs, it's added to a queue in ServiceNow and each event is linked to a particular notification. This setup allows us to automate alerts and actions seamlessly. To configure these notifications, you go to System Policy, then select Events, and finally the Event Registry. This is where you define what events should be tracked and how notifications should be handled. You can trigger events via scripts as well. For example, using a line like GS, Event Queue, which queues an event such as Incident Resolved and passes relevant data like the current record, the assigned user, and who opened the incident. This makes it easy to automate follow-up actions or alerts when specific conditions are met. A common use case is sending a custom email when a workflow or business rule fires an event. This helps keep the right people informed automatically, improving response times and ensuring nothing slips through the cracks. Overall, event-based notifications are a powerful way to keep your processes efficient and your team well-informed, all while maintaining flexibility through scripting and configuration. Now, let's take a look at script-based notifications. These are created using email scripts, which allow us to generate dynamic content directly inside the notification body. Essentially, this means we can customize the email content on the fly, making it more relevant and personalized for each recipient. This approach is particularly useful when the email content needs to be formatted or tailored dynamically, rather than relying on static, predefined text. To set this up, you would go into the System Notification settings, then navigate to Email, and select Email Scripts. As an example, you might see a script that looks like this. It greets the assigned user by name and informs them that their incident has been resolved. The script dynamically pulls the user's name and incident number from the system, ensuring each email is personalized. The key use case here is when you need logic-based email content, meaning the message changes depending on specific conditions or data. This flexibility allows for more meaningful and context-aware notifications, enhancing the overall communication experience within the system. Now, let's take a look at the navigation path to access notifications. First, you'll start by going to the System Notification menu. From there, select Email and then click on Notifications. Once you're in the Notifications section, look for the New button and click on it. This is how you create a new notification. Remember, this process is essential for setting up timely alerts and keeping everyone informed. So, just follow these steps, and you'll be able to easily manage your notifications as part of the overall system communication. All right, let's take a closer look at the components of an email notification. First up, we have the name. This is simply the notification title, the label that helps you identify what the email is about at a glance. Next, we have the table. This part defines exactly which record or data triggers the email to be sent, so it's the source of the trigger. Then there's when to send. Here, you specify the condition or event that will trigger the notification, like an insert, an update, or perhaps a delete. It's all about setting the right timing. Moving on, who will receive? This component determines the recipients of the email. You can choose individual users, groups, or even specific fields that contain email addresses. And finally, what it will contain. This is about the content of the email itself, the subject line and the body. It's important to craft this carefully to ensure your message is clear and effective. Understanding these components helps us design notifications that are targeted, timely, and relevant, which ties back to our overall goal of improving communication and automation within our system. Now, let's talk about when these email notifications are actually sent, focusing on the trigger conditions. Essentially, the notification is automatically activated whenever a record is either created or updated in a particular table, such as incident, problem, or change. This means that anytime a new record is inserted or an existing one is modified, the system can be set up to send an alert. You have the flexibility to define specific conditions for these triggers. For example, you might want a notification only when the state changes to resolved, or perhaps when the assigned person changes. These conditions help ensure that notifications are relevant and sent only when important changes happen. To visualize the flow, Think of it like this. The system follows a path from detecting the insert or update, through evaluating whether the conditions are met, and finally sending the email if they are. So, when a user creates a new incident, ServiceNow detects that an insert has occurred. If your defined conditions are true, say the state is now resolved, then the system automatically sends an email notification. This automation helps keep everyone informed without manual intervention, making processes more efficient and responsive. It's a key part of how ServiceNow ensures timely communication based on record changes. Now, let's talk about who will receive the email notifications when they're triggered. Essentially, recipients are the people or groups who should get notified. You can choose specific users, groups, or roles, depending on your needs. What's really powerful is that you can also use scripts to dynamically determine recipients, which adds a lot of flexibility. To set this up, you'll navigate through the configuration path, notification record, then who will receive, and finally groups or users. When a notification is triggered, it's sent out to these selected recipients, whether they are individual users, groups, roles, or even determined on the fly with scripts. This setup ensures that the right people are informed at the right time, keeping everyone aligned and responsive. Now let's take a closer look at what the message body actually contains. Essentially, this is the core content of the email that will be sent to recipients. It includes the subject line, which serves as the email's title, and the main message content, which can be plain text or HTML depending on your needs. An important aspect here is the use of dynamic variables. These allow the email to display record-specific information automatically. For example, variables like assigned to or state help personalize each message based on the actual data related to the incident or record. You can find and configure these settings within the system under System Notification, then Email, Notifications, and specifically in the section labeled what it will contain. To give you a quick overview, the email message components include the subject line, such as incident number, short description, and the body, which can include both variables and HTML or plain text content. Dynamic fields like assigned to or state are used to insert specific details dynamically into each email. Understanding how to set up and customize this message body is crucial because it ensures your emails are clear, informative, and tailored to each recipient. This way, your communication becomes more effective and engaging, fitting seamlessly into the overall message flow of your system. Now, let's talk about events and notifications. Events are really powerful because they allow us to trigger notifications automatically, based on specific activities or conditions happening within the system. This makes our notifications much more modular, reusable, and easier to manage over time. One key aspect here is event registration. This is basically the process of defining a new event in ServiceNow. To do this, we start by going to the event registry and clicking on New. Then, we need to enter some details. For example, we give the event a name, like Incident Assigned, which clearly indicates what this event is about. We also specify the table. Here, it would be the incident table, and add a description to explain when this event gets triggered, such as when an incident is assigned to a user. Once we've filled out all this information, we save the event record. This setup is crucial because it lays the foundation for automating notifications based on these specific system activities. So, in the context of our overall theme, understanding how to register events effectively helps us build smarter, more responsive notification workflows. Now, let's take a closer look at how events are handled within notifications. First, we have the event queue. When an event is triggered, it doesn't just happen instantly. Instead, it gets placed into this queue. The queue essentially stores all the pending or processed events, acting as a kind of holding area. You can trace the path of an event through the system, starting from the system policy, moving to events, and then ending up in the event log. For example, imagine an incident gets assigned. When that happens, an event called Incident Assigned appears in the event queue. This helps us keep track of what's happened and when. Next, let's talk about triggering events directly. You can fire an event programmatically using the GS, Event queue function. This can be done from business rules, workflows, or scripts, anywhere you want to initiate an event based on some logic. Here, how it works. First, you register the event by defining it. Then, from your script or business rule, you call GS, event queue, to trigger that event. Once triggered, the event gets logged into the event queue, and then it's executed, meaning any associated actions or notifications are processed. Finally, after the event is processed, an email notification can be sent out automatically. So, in summary, this system ensures that events are systematically stored, triggered, and processed, which helps us automate and track activities efficiently across the platform. Let's take a look at email scripts in ServiceNow. These are essentially small pieces of server-side JavaScript code that you can embed within your email notifications. The main idea here is to add dynamic or conditional content, making your emails more personalized and relevant. To configure an email script, you would navigate through the path: system notification, then email scripts, and finally click on New. Once there, you'll need to fill out some key fields. First, the name field, where you give your script a descriptive name. Then the Applies to field, where you specify the table, such as incident, that this script will be associated with. Next, the script field is where you write your JavaScript code. This code can generate dynamic content based on the data in your records or any other logic you implement. Make sure to activate the script by setting the active checkbox to true. So, how does this all fit into the bigger picture? Think of it this way. The email notification itself can contain HTML and scripts, which define the structure and static content. The email script then kicks in to generate the dynamic message content. When the email is sent, the script runs on the server, producing a message that's tailored specifically to the recipient or the situation. In essence, email scripts are powerful tools that help you customize your notifications, making them more effective and engaging. They bridge the gap between static information and personalized communication, enhancing the overall user experience. Let's talk about testing notifications. This step is crucial to make sure your email notifications are working correctly before you go live. Essentially, it helps verify that the right users receive the right email content and that these emails trigger under the expected conditions. To do this, you'll use the Test Notification button, which you can find directly on the notification record form. When you click this button, it sends a test email to a designated test user, allowing you to see exactly what the recipient will receive. After sending the test, it's important to verify the email logs. Every email sent is recorded in the email logs, which serve as an audit trail and a debugging resource if needed. You can access these logs through the path: system mailboxes, then outbound, and finally email logs. Here's how it works. You start from the notification record, where you create or edit your email content. Then, you click the Test Notification button, which triggers the email to be sent to your test user. You can then go to the email logs to check that the email was sent successfully and review its details. This process ensures that your notifications are configured correctly, and it helps catch any issues early. Remember, thorough testing now saves a lot of troubleshooting later, making sure your notifications are reliable and effective when they go live. Let's walk through how to troubleshoot email issues effectively. When an email isn't sent, the first step is to check the email logs. You can find these by navigating to System Mailboxes, then Outbound, and selecting Email Logs. This will give you detailed information about the email's journey and any errors that might have occurred. Next, if the logs don't reveal the problem, check the System Logs. These are located under System Logs, then All. System logs can provide additional context or errors related to email processes that aren't captured in the email logs alone. The third crucial step is to verify the SMTP configuration. This is where you ensure that ServiceNow can properly communicate with the SMTP server to send emails. You can access these settings through System Mailboxes, then Administration, and Email Properties. To visualize this process, imagine starting with checking the email logs. If you see issues there, move on to examining the system logs. If everything looks fine but emails still aren't sending, the next step is to confirm that the SMTP settings are correctly configured. By following these steps systematically, you can identify and resolve the root cause quickly. Once you've addressed the issue, the email should be sent successfully, completing the troubleshooting process efficiently. So, as we wrap up, I want to highlight the importance of email notifications. They really play a crucial role in automating communication within ServiceNow, making sure that the right people get the right information at the right time. When configured properly, these notifications help users stay instantly informed about important updates, actions they need to take, or approvals that are pending. This immediacy keeps things moving smoothly. Properly setting up these notifications isn't just about convenience. It actually boosts overall workflow efficiency. It reduces the need for manual follow-ups and minimizes chances of missing critical information. Ultimately, effective email notifications are a key part of streamlining processes and ensuring seamless communication across teams. This ties back to our overall goal of making ServiceNow a more efficient, automated platform that saves time and enhances productivity. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. I really appreciate you being here and engaging with the content. I hope the insights shared have been valuable and have provided you with a clearer understanding of the key concepts we've discussed. Remember, the ideas and strategies we explored are all aimed at helping you achieve your goals more effectively. If you have any questions or want to continue the conversation, please feel free to reach out. Once again, thank you for your participation, and I look forward to connecting again in the future.